Hello? Does the mic work? I guess it does. Um, cool. I'm just gonna keep setting up a little bit. But why not? There's one viewer. I'm gonna start ranting. Um, yeah. So yeah, thanks, Benny. Means a lot. Oh, it was five of you. What? What's going on? So many of you. Um, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks, Ranger Grade. Um, Doing pretty well, pretty well. Yeah, when I lose my neuroplasticity, that's the thing. I'm trying to I have 14 I think what time is it? I have 14 minutes to figure out what to do, what to learn before I turn 25, and then I can't ever learn anything else ever again forever. Um so if you guys have any suggestions as to what I should learn in the next now probably 13 minutes. Pitch him in the chat. Um, yeah. No, I assume I'm not sure how it feels to not have any neuroplasticity, but I'm assuming it's um, I just assume you just become a robot. You're just like, you don't really do anything. You just do one thing, the same thing over and over again. Um, yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe I can learn to code. I already know how to code. Yeah. Um, I know how to code in Python, in Java, and C, and some other languages that I haven't used in a while. But yeah, maybe there's another language I can pick up in the next 10 minutes. All right, what's an obscure language that I should learn? I actually can speak Russian. I can speak Russian if you if so that's I mean I could do both those things actually. Um, I can speak some French. I'm not that good. Japanese, yeah, I took one Japanese course. It's in my mind somewhere, but I forgot all of it. I know arigato and um uh watashi wa maxim or whatever. I forgot. I took one course in summer school for like a month, and then I just threw it all out. Um but yeah, maybe I can learn maybe I can learn to code. That'd be cool. Japanese can be learned in 10 minutes. Yeah, I mean, 10 minutes. Guess I could learn Japanese. Yeah, it's pretty weird because I remember like this whole neuroplasticity thing used to be like a pretty big bother of mine. I remember I don't know, being like 16, I'd be like, "Oh my god, I lose all neuroplasticity when I'm 25. It's over. It's over." And now I'm like 20 now I'm like pretty much 25 and I'm like, you kind of are the way you are." And it's like you kind of just like I don't think you have that like perspective where it's like you can't really learn something um like easily or you can't really like compare it actively. Because I'm assuming like even when you're 40 like you might feel some resistance, but like that's more like internal resistance that's like you as opposed to just like this external force that you're feeling. Yeah, I don't feel any like resistance. Like things take time to learn, but um it's like yeah, exactly. It's not like you're not gonna yeah, exactly. I mean, when you're by the time you're 25, you've pretty much like picked up on all your skills. You've gone to school, you've done what you had to do, and we're probably working your 9 to 5 job and probably picking a couple things up kind of on that thing. But yeah, it's yeah. I guess you learn your entire life, so it's yeah. And then I remember I was like 22 and I was like trying to learn piano. And then I think I got decent. Like I think I got decently far. with the neuroplasticity that I had. So, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Neurometallic. That's a good way of looking at it. You lose all your neuroplasticity, but the plastic becomes metal, base metal. Metal's fun. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm happy to be enjoying the last 10 minutes of my neuroplasticity with you guys. It's a good time. It's a good time. Just riffing. Uh, Hi Skylar. Thanks. I appreciate your comments too. Wait, why are you guys beefing? What's going on? No, art Chad. It's 25. 25. I think I think there's like a little room of to like to dispute or whatever, but I think generally people have considered it to be 25. Um, Although if you put your mind to anything, you can achieve anything. Tell that to a 90-year-old that wants to learn piano. But yeah, yeah. One of my plans when I turn 30, I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully, doing the exact same thing I'm doing right now because I love it so much. Um, yeah. I mean, 30 is a long time ago, but it's like it's weird to think like because I remember the moment I turned 20, and I'm like, dude, I'm so old, and like I remember I felt so old, and that, like, I literally made a song to, like, commemorate, like, how old I am. I'm like 20. Like, geez, that's I'm gonna die soon. I remember feeling like I was gonna die soon at 16. And then I turned 20. I'm like, "Oh my god, like, this is it. This is over." And now I'm about to be 25, and then at that point on from that point on, I'll be closer to 30 than I am 25 or 20, basically. So, and time usually the perception of time usually accelerates as well, as you get older for various reasons. So, it'll be pretty strange. It'll be probably reach 30 in the same amount of time it felt like, going from 20 to 23, which was basically like a second. Oh, I'm not having a crisis at all. I'm not having a crisis at all. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm not doing it. I'm not having a I'm not having a crisis, guys. 25. Holy shit. 25. You only turn 25 once, guys. You're gonna die when you're 25. Am I gonna die? Guys, am I gonna die? Why am I talking about death? This is crazy. Okay. Anyways, what's going on? All right. I feel like you're okay. What type of music do you listen to? Like electronic, I guess. That's the other thing, which is crazy. My music taste, like, I want to enjoy music from more modern music and like consistently more modern music, but I find myself like really enjoying music with like 2011, 2012 vibes. Ah, this is how it feels to be like a boomer that like just like enjoys like rock and roll or whatever they listen to. Um, it's like your taste gets solidify whether you like it or not. And I'm trying to keep up. I'm trying to, it's like not even like at this point. It's like because when you're like a teenager, you're discovering things. It's like and you're in the now. You don't have to. It's like effortless. It's like everything's interesting to you. You like you pick up on like, you basically pick up on anything you want, and it's like I like this. I don't like this. But either way, it's like you're in with the trend. But then when you're 25 or older, it's like then you in order to like kind of, you know, keep up, you have to actually actively put in the effort. Otherwise you'll just like the same thing over and over again. But yeah, that's an interesting question actually. Like lack of neuroplasticity would hinder one's ability to overcome addiction. Yeah, I mean I do have I think that's like I think that's true. Like to a big extent. Yeah. Yeah, I mean I'm not sure. I think like if if you're a smoker at 25, it's yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, if you start smoking early, it's harder to quit later on, right? Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming that I'm assuming you'll be able to, it'll be harder for you if you do that. Yeah, I don't know. What to do before you lose neuroplasticity? See how it goes. Episode 5. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that, Archad. The harder it is to stay quit. All right, that's the other thing, I guess. I shouldn't be only thinking about things I can pick up, but things I can drop. The bad habits I can dispose of right now. And in the last 4 minutes before I lose everything. All right. Yeah, that's cool, Corey. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's weird because like I do, it does feel like you're like I do feel, I can still learn things, I can still like improve on things, but it's like I also notice that that like I'm in loops more. Like I get into routine more easily for the better, for the worse. So if I'm in like a bad like routine, if I'm like doing something um like I'll be more likely to like stop it in my teenage years than I am now. Because it's like there's like more of a resistance. But at the same time, it's easier to start doing positive things as well. Like if you get into that loop, um, so it's like, yeah, it's like if you're in a good loop and you start doing programming and it's a it's a good loop for you, then you'll probably keep doing it. Um, you're more likely to keep doing it if you're older, I think. Yo, 300 elo in chess, that's pretty good. Nice, nice. 300 elo. It's like it's not bad. It's not bad. I'm more methodical and less drunk than I was 25. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the other thing. There's I guess like neuroplasticity is like peaks or like neuroplasticity like leaves the brain at like around 25 or I mean it doesn't actually leave the brain, but or does it? But the like I think like your brain becomes more efficient through time until you're like 35 or 40. That's when it peaks. So you like it's like your brain is like taking information until you're 25 roughly, and then it just prunes information and then optimize your behavior for the stuff that you're doing. And it finishes optimizing that at like 35 or 40 ish. So yeah, 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 yeah. I never struggled with addiction until after I was 30. Oof, that's that's bad news for me. Well, I guess I have to wait 5 years to find out. Yeah, I'm just anxiously looking at the clock. It's like a minute and a half left, 2 minutes left. It's yeah. But yeah, no, I appreciate you guys joining in the stream though. It's and watching the stuff that I put out, and it's been a great ride with you guys, and well, I'll keep doing it. It's really fun, and yeah, no, thanks, JJ. Yeah, Drunky, I'm actually writing a new script right now for like a fun movie. Um, it's yeah, it's gonna be a work in progress. I don't know. It might take a while to put out, but I have like a pretty good vision for it. Currently in the middle of not in the middle, but like in the early stages of writing a script, but I'm pretty confident about this idea. So um yeah, yeah. In 2 minutes, literally nothing will happen. Oh yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Let me see what time it is. Time right now. Oh, I have 1 second left. Hello. My name is Maxim. Hello. Hello. I feel actually pretty different. It's weird. Like I just felt like something this like weird energy shroud my brain and now it's like a rock. I feel like it's a rock now. It's like Yeah. I think it's better to just for me to just accept the fact that I can't learn anything anymore and just keep doing the things I keep like I did before, like never improve on anything else because there's no point, right? Maybe okay, but if I keep doing the stuff I do, maybe I'll just get faster at it. I won't get better, but I'll get faster at it. Maybe that's what I'll focus on. No! My brain's solidified. No! Ah! Thanks, guys. Yeah. Um, yeah, but I'm happy that I'm still 24 in some time zones. It's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling. It's good. It's very nice. Thanks, Greg, too. Yeah. Damn, it's 14 people now. It's like a pretty good turnout. This is a great birthday present. Thanks, guys. You are 24 until you say you're 25. Have I explicitly? I think I've said it. I think I've said that. What if I just never say? What if I never say that I'm 25? What if I'm just? Oh, I just said it. I said I'm 25. Shit. Yeah, true. Man. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the thing I was looking forward to, actually, the rental car stuff. Because if you're under 25, you have to pay an underage driver fee. So it's uh it's nice. Now I get to save on car rentals. Yeah. All right. This message is held for review by Corey Long. Show. When are you going to die? Um, I don't know. Preferably like not this year, but sometime maybe in the next, you know, set of years that could possibly exist in the future. Sometime then, that's preferably on the higher side for human life expectancy. That'd be nice. Um, I just turned my current age for like half the year. Yeah, that's how it feels too, JJ. That's how it feels. It's like I don't know, like feel like I was just outside walking around thinking about being 23, walking around downtown, and now I'm like 25. It's kind of weird. I think COVID was also like a pretty big factor. Like, kind of stayed inside, nothing really happened for like a while, and just like that, 2 years have passed. But yeah, it's yeah, Skylar. I'll probably be saving the stream. Um, yeah. Yeah, yeah. But yeah. Yeah, it must be like weird. I remember it's my grandpa recently turned 86, and my grandma did this thing where it's like, "Oh yeah, but if you like switch the numbers around, you're like 68." And to me it's like, bro. like like if I was 68, I would kill myself right now. Like I would murder myself. 68? Can you imagine being 68? That's so old. You're so old when you're 68. I remember I was in first grade and I looked at like a seventh graders walking down the hall, and they're walking down the hall and they're like carrying their binders, and they were like their backs were like hunched over, like they're like kind of cool. And I think like some of them had like slight facial hair maybe, and I was like, wow, like seventh grade, that's so far away. That's never going to happen. And yeah, then I remember I was in seventh grade and I was like, whoa, I'm in seventh grade. And yeah, now I'm 25. 25. That's a quarter of a century, guys. A quarter of a century. you can be 68 and still live for 25 years. There's people that literally, like, live to, like, 120. Can you imagine? Like, imagine you're born when, imagine you're born when you're 80, when they're 80, and then you're 40 and they're still alive. Like, wha like, you're 40, your gray is, like, your hair is thinning and, it's turning gray and, you know, and it's just like, you can probably feel I don't know. 40 is not that old realistically, but, just like it just for me, it feels old. For me, it feels old. I, uh Yeah, being one of the oldest people alive. I'm just thinking of, like, people from, like, the 19th century. Like, imagine you're born in, like, 1899, and then, like, you're the last person to ever stay alive, or, like, you're, like, the last person that's alive in the world from the 19th century. Like, jeez, that's crazy. Yeah, I was watching a Vsauce video actually, like the newest one, which came out like a couple days ago, and he was talking about how when you look back on on how old people are, or like if you look back to like the 80s or whatever, like people seem like older, um, like at like in high school than we looked in high school, and like he said, like part of it is fashion, but another part of it is like health. So he said that like I don't know, like 40 is the new 38 basically. And like, everything has adjusted by a little bit because we keep ourselves in relatively good shape. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good art, Chad. Yeah, you gotta. That's the main thing. You gotta like keep going at it. It's like, I mean, it's true that I guess your brain does slow down and things do happen, but like physically. But I think like the biggest part is like actually actively doing stuff because like that stereotype where you just get like a 9 to 5 job, you turn 65, and then you go to a retirement home, you just watch TV all day, or you retire, you watch TV all day, and then your brain decays in a matter of like 5 years. It's all because like you don't really use it. It's like you don't work out, you're not gonna you're gonna lose your gains basically. If you don't use your brain, you're gonna lose your brain. It's as simple as that. So it's like it's good if you're really old and keep still so you still have that motivation to go out and like find new people, find new experiences to explore. I think like a big part of health isn't I mean it's physical, but I think a lot of it is also mental. It's like if you don't have a raison d'etre or like a meaning of life or whatever, then it's like or like a strong will to live, then you won't actually live as long usually. Maybe I think there's like studies that have linked happiness to like longevity, and I'm a pretty solid believer of that. My great grandmother was born in the 19th century. Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, your grandma lived a lot, JJ. That's like a long time. That's crazy. Couldn't imagine that. All my great grandparents died before I was born, so it's uh it's pretty wild to have something like that happen to you. Yeah, sure, drunkie. Send me a message or something I don't know if you can even message on YouTube, but if you go to my channel and there's my personal email, you can send me stuff to my email. I want to expand my brain so that I kind of keep so that I keep like experiencing stuff that happened in the real world as opposed to kind of living in the past. Yo, Nate, haven't spoken to you in a while. How's it going? Yeah. Yeah. No, it gave me anxiety too, so don't worry. Yeah, I guess that's true, Nate. Yeah, that's true. Um, yeah, yeah, God. I think video games. are given too much flack. I think video games are actually like I think they're pretty good. Like I can just like can you imagine you're like 80, right? And you're just like you're watching TV, you're not really doing anything, you're not forcing your brain to to think. But if you're like, if you're even if you're playing like a first person shooter when you're 80, right? It's like you're still thinking, you're still like reacting, you're still using your brain. Um and so, I think video games like I have this thing, for example, where I play chess with my grandpa sometimes. And like, he's just, he like crushes because he just plays chess all the time. And, he's like very mentally sharp for his age. So it's like you just have to I think video games like do play like a or games in general have like a pretty big impact on brains, but also like playing an instrument. Like I was reading that it also helps. Playing an instrument, like writing, do anything active. Like if you just observe, you're not forcing your brain into any kind of like, actual activity mode. But when you're actually being creative, when you're actually like making decisions, like, when you're doing something in a video game or playing music or like writing, then it's like you're actually using your brain and it's like or you're painting or something. Then you're using your brain and it's like, it's better. Yeah, exactly, Nate. I think it ultimately depends on the type of game. Yeah, it's like it's not like I mean, have you seen like the casinos? It's like the most depressing vibe. It's like you enter a casino and then there's like a bunch of like old people trying to play out their retirement savings. It's like they have nothing to live for, so they just kind of like get hooked in on this dopamine cycle, just endlessly putting in quarters or dollars or whatever, and just like losing all their money. And just like it's like the most brainless activity. You just kind of like pull the lever. It's not like poker where you like kind of where you think a bit, but like it's. Yeah, no, yeah, drunky actually um games are like really cool. I remember I mean as a kid like I was never really exposed to the video game culture that much because I never had a video game console until I was like in the 6th grade. Um uh And yeah, I mean, I remember playing some video games then. It was pretty fun. I got Age of Empires, and then a couple years later, I started playing Portal 2, which I remember now. It was really fun. The story was like amazing. And then I got a Switch like 3 or 4 years ago, whenever it came out, or shortly after it came out, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna get into video games." And then I got myself Legend of Zelda. I got myself like Odyssey, which I actually did play through. But yeah, Legend of Zelda, I was like playing it, and I was like excited about the idea of like the storytelling vibe, and I just couldn't get into it. Like my brain wasn't used to just like this complete immersion into a video game, which is weird. But I find that like people that actually have played video games like earlier on as well, like they have an easier time getting immersed in video games. It's like more homey to them, I guess. Yeah, art chat. I know there's like a thing on the internet where it's like this. It's pretty sad, but this painter painting himself during like yeah, like cognitive decline. So um, yeah, it's like very sad. It's like what's that album called by the Caretaker? It's like the end of everything at the end of time or something. It's like very much like those vibes, but in a visual form. Yeah, Portal 2. Yeah, what an amazing game. Sometimes I look up that scene where like what's his name, like Walkley or something, like the potato, it's like he's like taking over the facility, and he's like you shoot a portal gun to the moon and then like knock him into space. I sometimes watch that scene. That's like I remember watching it. I was like, whoa, this is so epic. Yeah, damn right I do. Dementia music is the shit. And then I recently discovered there's also dementia music, but like for people in Gen Z. So it's just like, so it's just like Gen Z classics in a very with like effects and distortion and stuff. Wheatley, yeah, that's Wheatley. Yeah, yeah. Never mind. Yeah, I don't fare well with these titles. Um, yeah, yeah. Reading less. Yeah, I think I mean, people obviously read all the time. People, you read like you read this title to click on this video. Like you read like Reddit posts, Wikipedia posts, all the time. But I think like it's uh it's not quite. I think it's less the material or the volume of material that is important. Which I mean, it is important, but I think it's like I think it's one thing that the thing that books have that the internet doesn't is like a consistency in tone and like you know a um a more of like a thesis, a more centralized thesis. Then if you're trying to learn like about a certain topic on the internet, you just kind of like go through the internet trying to learn about it, like and just peruse random authors and just like you have to like kind of dissect yourself what's right, what's wrong. But it's like if you read a book where it's like about a certain topic, you'll probably like you at least know what the topic is from like a more um kind of a more refined kind of point of view without and you don't and without actually having to like kind of assume what certain things mean. You just kind of read the book and yeah, I don't know. All right. Bye, Archad. Yeah. No, I like books because I mean books are it's like a book is like a it's like a good centralized source of information. It's like it's like written in one tone that's written by like one mind presumably, and it's like when you get into it, it's like you also like I guess figure out how it also helps like to understand like the thought process of the writer. When you read a book, it's like you have a consistent kind of thought process and consistent writing style as well that helps. Um, Longest single thing I've written. I don't know. I think maybe Jesus. I hate this to be I need to like Antopia was good, but yeah, Antopia is probably like the longest one of the longest things I've written. I wrote like it was like a 25, 30 page script or something. Um it can't be it though. But that's like the longest thing I've written that's comes up on top of my head right now. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah. I tried writing books. I mean, I have a lot of like a lot of ideas that I started and stopped, but then it's like I don't know. I don't have like a deep inclination, a deep passion for writing books. I like writing like shorter things, but I've always had trouble like writing long things. But I think it's all a matter of like actually pushing yourself through and forcing yourself into routine and kind of getting through it. And Antopia, Rise of the Bees. I had a couple of draft scripts of Antopia actually. Um, I mean, it would be nice actually to do like a reunion kind of thing. Might be cool. Um, some of the actors actually want to get involved, um, but it's just like 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 Antopia is cool and all. And I do want to revisit that franchise, but I also want to explore other things. But maybe Antopia could be like a short, like a 10-minute thing with some of the older actors and or some of the actors from the first one. Yeah, Charlie. I mean, that's something I've been thinking about a lot. Like basically, like how we just kind of. I mean, if you guys have watched my like the latest video I put out. It's basically like you go from like YouTube to like TikTok, and then you go to just like a phone that just flashes colors. Like there's no content, there's no material at all. It just like knows. Presumably, there's an AI that knows that like looks at your face, that knows what like how much dopamine is getting released, and then it uses that information to like pulse out the right color at you and the right noise at you. So then you feel simulated. So then at that point, there's like no content. And yeah, I mean, I think like the difference between a TikTok and a book is that like a TikTok has more or a TikTok has like less. There's less content to it. There's less truth to it. Like you could like like you don't like I don't think you can learn a lot. You can't really learn from TikTok like a lot from TikTok because it's like not as deep as well. It's like very very shallow. Um, so it's just like we kind of like look at this thing that's like a couple seconds long and we're like kind of like, oh, this aligns with my beliefs. It gives me dopamine, and then we just click away and do the same thing with the next TikTok. It's a little scary, but yeah, I mean, I have hope for humanity, guys. Yeah. Yeah, Corey, I think that's it actually does make sense. I mean, it is a big I mean, I think like from the creator's perspective, I think it does help. Like it does it's a good practice to actually do that. Um but I think for the consumer, I think it's generally worse. Although I think a good middle ground is like YouTube videos. So something that like it's like you have a book. Like if you want to actually like get some valuable information out of this book, if it's like a manual or something, then but it's like written like in a very weird way, or it's like super long, or like someone could just make a video about it, distilling its like the main points, and deliver that in a way that's like entertaining and also very informative. So, but I think TikTok just kind of lacks, while it gives the creators, the ability, or the creators can still like exercise their brains and like figure out how to, it's like a good exercise to like shorten things up for them. I think for the consumer, it's like you're ultimately just watching a 5 6 second thing, so it's not really that good. Yeah. I mean, like, if you look at the extremes, like, I'm just thinking of, like, those super long philosophy books. Like, I remember I was at, my local Chapters, like a bookstore, and I know, opened Being and Nothingness by Sartre, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna start reading this because this is written in a very cool way. I'm gonna get through this." And I remember, like, I got through, like, maybe 1 page, and I was like like, what is going on? It's like it's way too complicated. And I remember later I downloaded a PDF of the book and I was like trying to read it, and it was legit impossible. And then I found out that Sartre just kind of wrote it. He just kind of like spewed out his mind without like revising anything. He just kind of spewed it out, and it's like who's going to read that? It's like at that point, it's like it's like you're not really. It's like the opposite of distillation. You're just kind of like rambling, and then you're hopeful, and then hopefully you find something that's like that's good, a good piece of information that the people can then like key in on, and then use all that information that came before it as justification, as like logical justification that you need to know as a philosopher to arrive at that conclusion. Um, but like, yeah, it's just yeah, no, like I mean, yeah, YouTube videos are generally pretty good for that. Um, yeah, but there's a lot of books that are just like so long that it's like there's no point in reading them. But um, yeah, 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 he is, isn't he? Wow, the stream has been going on for a long time, actually. Bob, that's a no, that's a Samsung notification. Yeah, ranker grade. That's actually like a lot of philosophy books are unappealing. A lot of them just suck. um, like there's a I remember reading this Reddit post of this guy. He's basically like he's basically talking about like how he went down to his to this to the basement of his university library, and he was looking for he's just looking around for some book, and then he came across this like huge row of just like philosophy books, and it's just like, and he opened one, and then like it was written in like the 70s, but hasn't been checked out like once. It's just been sitting there. Someone wrote it. Someone's like, "Oh wow, I've discovered this philosophical axiom," and then, and then he just put out a book, and then no one cares about his discovery because he didn't make it appealing to anybody to read it, and then that book has just been sitting there for like a long time. But I mean, I think it's all a matter of I think making your content important is super important. Like if you want to get people to learn, you can't just like making entertaining is in your best interest if you want to get people to actually learn about it. Um, because no one's gonna read anything that's like there's only a very small like group of people that are actually down to get themselves rough and dirty and like you know being nothingness, that massive book that Sartre like wrote. There's not that many that actually have read it. And it's like and that's like a popular philosophy book. Okay, well maybe a lot of people have read it, but like I'm not like there's a lot of philosophy books I just haven't gotten the light of day because they haven't made appealing. So it's a shame because philosophy is super interesting, but it's also written, you know, it's written in a very analytical way a lot of the time. And even continental philosophy, like, can sometimes be like such a drag to read. So yeah, I find YouTube. Have you ever considered taking DMT for neuroplasticity? Um, um, uh, yeah, I want to show this one. Thanks, Shay. Means a lot. I had to show your comment was blocked for some reason, but I uncommented it. Is theology contained within philosophy, or is philosophy contained within theology? I mean, I would consider philosophy to be the starting point of most things. I think theology is it come. I think it depends. Like I think it depends what philosophy is to you, because a lot of definitions of what philosophy is. Um, you know, I mean, like before theology, what did people have? Right? People just kind of like people thought about things, and do you consider thinking about like do you consider thinking philosophy? Right? Like what is philosophy really? So it depends what you consider philosophy. I think. Yeah, yeah, direct too. I think yeah, so there's like yeah. Yeah, I think philosophy in its earliest form because I think, my definition of philosophy is that like it kind of precedes anything else basically. Um because it's just like for me like philosophy is basically thinking but like I mean not quite. Um it's like It's like you have like a branch hanging over the water, and you notice that the branch is breaking and might go into the water. And the reason you did that is using a priori logic. You're like, you're doing philosophy already by inferring that things happen. So I think on that level, you can consider that potentially philosophy, except a very rudimentary form of philosophy. So yeah, so that rudimentary form of philosophy kind of led to theology, and then yeah, and then I guess and then yeah, and then probably kind of create, and then yeah, created its own philosophical system, and yeah. Philosophy existed before theology. It just wasn't organized until afterwards. Metaphysics is probably the earliest form of philosophy. Yeah, maybe. Seems more people reject philosophy because they assume it's solved by subjectivity somehow. See you, drunkie. Thanks for hopping on the stream. I was honestly thinking of like, having the stream open for like maybe like half an hour, but I'm having a good time here. It's good discussion here. No, it's like completely devolved into like from just philosophy and theology. It's uh it's pretty fun. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, G McQueen, I agree. Dudes will seriously be like, "Yeah, I'm just celebrating my 25th," and then go on an epistemological tangent. Yeah, that's classic. Yeah, although I am getting bored of the philosophy vibe. Philosophy is pretty interesting, but like I remember like I used to think about philosophy like so much, and now I'm like, ugh, the philosophy vibe, it sucks. Or it doesn't suck, but it's just like I'm getting tired of it. It's like if you expose yourself to like the same thing over and over again, you kind of get tired of it. Um, but I mean, some aspects are still kind of fun, but it's weird. I mean, as I'm getting older, I'm like, whoa, maybe real life is where you should be concentrating. Maybe the stuff worth doing in real life that are better to concentrate on than doing philosophy or doing all these other um, you know psychic realm stuff. The thing about philosophy is that like I don't know. It's kind of it only exists because you like if we never had like it's like a byproduct of us thinking too much. Like we don't and like yeah, I mean I guess we can solve stuff with philosophy somehow, but um I the thing about philosophy is that like I mean how like I think there's a certain type of person that appreciates it. I don't think everyone appreciates philosophy. It's like you talk to some people that like are completely like, they're just happy living their lives. They're just doing something else, right? Um, and you talk to them about philosophy, and they're just like they have no interest in it. They have zero interest. Like they're just that are the way they are, and they just don't do philosophy for some reason. Like these thoughts of like, oh, what's the meaning of life, or like, oh, is there a god, or like any of these other like ontological questions. They just don't ever consider. They don't even want to consider them because it's not something that's like you know wired into them or whatever. So it's like yeah, it's so I think the people that I mean, it makes sense that the philosophy that you get on YouTube is mainly appeals to people who aren't like really like I think the School of Life, for example, like all the School of Life videos are basically like very related to like real world problems, which is honestly I think is good because I think that's philosophy should link itself more to real world problems. Um, But yeah, like philosophy that becomes more like, you know, more more abstract, like just there's only a there's not a lot of people like that actually appreciate like abstract philosophy. Um, that isn't like linked to like real life in some way or form. Like or like directly at least. So you kids get off my lawn and stop talking philosophy. Stop talking philosophy. I don't even know what accent that was. Is being aphilosophical almost the same as being apolitical? Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. It's actually a maze on my forehead right now. Check it out. You can like walk in. We should screenshot this and put it on the internet somewhere. Cool. Um, yeah. So, Nate, I'm gonna be saving the stream. So if you ever want to go back and if you didn't make it, then I'll do it. Uh, yeah. I wanted to wait. What? Oh yeah. The a is being aphilosophical almost the same as being apolitical. Uh, in a way, that's a hard question. I think it's the aspect of you know it's like if you're aphilosophical, you just don't think of philosophy. It's like it's like if you guys aren't what are you guys talking about? This is wild. Like if you guys don't like dirt science. It's like you guys are just a dirt scientist. You guys just don't do dirt science, right? And so it's like yeah. So a lot of people like are like so the aspect where of being apolitical, where it's like you don't care about it. Your life focus, your life thesis is different. Um, yeah, it could be the same thing. Like maybe your life thesis isn't philosophy, right? That's why there's people that like there's people, for example, that care about social issues but they don't make it their life thesis. Like for example, it's like everybody can assume that like everyone knows that like people don't like want people to starve, right? That's like a big thing. But there's people that actually make it like their life thesis to help that cause. They're like, okay, I want to help starvation. And then there's people that you know they obviously want the problem to go away, but they don't think about it. They just they kind of live out their lives. And if you ask them like, oh, do you want people to starve? They'll say no. And then they're like, okay, well, why don't you help out? And then they're like, well, I don't know. There's so many other things I could do. And I think it's all about like finding out what is your life thesis. It's all about that. Yeah, exactly. Nate. It's just like, there's certain topics like politics is like more difficult because it's like, everything we do, like politics impacts, everything, it's like we live in a political system. And so it's like whether we like it or not, we're kind of like trapped in this system. Um, but like same goes for a lot of other things as well. So it's we live in a society, that's true. Um Jesus. Okay. All right. I think that it's been actually let me read this one. Let me just read, see if I miss anything cool. Yeah, Charlie Wagner. Yeah, that's something I also think about a lot. It's like, so he said, often I feel like people's interest in philosophy is limited to being attached to the image of a philosopher. Like Zizek is widely known, but very few have actually read his work. Yeah, it's like people like the vibe of philosophers. People like the vibe of like some thinky guy. Like, ooh, I think. Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna tell you what to do, which is so funny because like these philosophers just talk, and then these people just consume this philosophy, but they're not like really doing any philosophy themselves. They're just kind of consuming material, which is like the whole point of philosophy. If you're a philosopher, is to just like think about things and produce novel ideas. Create inferences that you know that are unique, or try to do something. Try to think of something new, I guess, or trying to do something yourself, I guess. And then if you just like read philosophy, if that's all you do, and then you regurgitate your philosophy, it's like I guess it's not like it's kind of seems ironic in that sense. Yeah, direct too. That's a good idea. You should do it. I'd watch it. Um, yeah, TSG Frank, I do agree that I do think that. Yeah, it's like, but like, I think like, I think that like there is a function to have like to have this image of like this stinky guy, and people, and like this mysterious stinky guy on the cover of like a book or something, and people being like, whoa, like that's so interesting, let me get into it. I think like that is kind of the way that a lot of people do get into philosophy. It's like, it's, I mean, it's like maybe it's like a bait and switch. It's like you think that's like, oh, you're gonna be like this cool guy, but then it's like you start reading philosophy, it's like this whole other realm. um I do. So yeah, I mean, what I'm trying to say here is I think there's a function to having, the superficial image of philosophers kind of presented to us. But I do think that, yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, people would seek out, answers to philosophical questions, or ask their own philosophical questions, independent of any superficiality. Um, but like, yeah, I mean, but like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like, what do you when you look at a philosopher, like, what is the headspace of a person that is watching them? Like, what are they watching them for? It's like, so okay, like, it's like, imagine you get baited in with Zizek's you know lovely lovely smile, um, and then you start watching it. Um, are you what are you watching it for? Are you watching it for the philosophy at this point? Are you watching it for how he presents it in a way, or like what is it? Like a lot of content isn't actually like when you watch a video, a lot of it is like a lot of the stuff that you're watching isn't actually the content of the video, but rather like how interesting the person is, or like how they're presenting themselves. If they're being very like if they are very being very expressive, and they can do a lot of these tricks to just kind of like think that you're like to like entertain you. A lot of the time, maybe like what they're talking about isn't like that important or interesting. Um, yeah, yeah, it's a hard question. I can't think of a definite answer for that. I would lean to, yeah, I think we should divorce from a superficial image of philosophers once you actually get yourself into it, obviously. But like, as a general rule of thumb for everybody, I think maybe having that superficial image of philosophy kind of like an entry point for people to actually get interested in philosophy in the first place. Do I watch any anime? I used to watch Naruto and One Piece, like like a long time ago. Like I don't know, like maybe we're talking 13 years ago, guys. Like like 13 years ago, 12 years ago, kind of type beat. But I think I watched One Punch Man a couple years ago. That's like the latest anime that I've watched, and I was like, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. It was good. Yeah, TSG Frank. Yeah, his personality is definitely yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's gonna be. I think most of you know, I mean, for any like um, big philosopher, there's probably hordes. Most of the people that are interested in the philosopher aren't probably interested because of the philosophy, but rather because of the superficial image. There's probably plenty of like philosophers that have like figured out like that have written some amazing things that people just don't care about. Um, Yeah, Nate. Yeah, the poetic image of the philosopher can often correspond with the heart of philosophy itself. It is a philosophy on how to live one's life. Yeah, I find that really funny. You look at most philosophers, and they're just kind of like they're kind of like "Ugh." Like they're kind of like they look like they're super depressed. They're like almost dying or something. And then here they are like talking about like their philosophy. Um, yeah, it's yeah. I mean, yeah, Zizek, yeah. I remember it's so funny. I remember I one of those big think video recommendations popped up, and I was like, and I was I think the title of the video was like, how why Zizek thinks that we shouldn't be happy or something. And you just see Zizek, and he's just like depressed or whatever, trying to explain something. It's probably I think I butchered the title. I don't think it was literally that, but Zizek was like, "Oh yeah, happiness isn't the." I forget the video was like. It was like years ago, but Zizek was like, "Yeah, like happiness is like not the main priority of life. Rather, you should, I think, seek like other meaning, and then like happiness is secondary." But the way he was delivering it, he's like, guy's clearly the guy doesn't seem happy at all. He just kind of seems decrepit, falling apart. Like the real philosophers should be like these like jacked chads that are achieving all their dreams, and they're just like super happy. They're not even thinking about philosophy. Just like, yeah, yeah. So, Jack Chad, what do you think the meaning of life is? The meaning of life is to get pussy and fuck bitches and get money. Jesus. Um, as opposed to like you ask Azizek that question, he's just like, well, the meaning of life is a very complicated question. There's a lot of ins, a lot of outs, and then he starts like starts like going down tangents. Very, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the other thing about philosophy is that like people kind of, like with the image of like the philosopher comes like this idea that they like know more than us, that there's like they have a deeper understanding of the world and a more objective, clear view of the world, whatever that means. But like at the end of the day, it's like you can't really know anything objectively, really. Like you can think about it. Like I think it's philosophy is good for like refining your thoughts and like understanding how you think and understanding how to navigate the subjective realm from your subjective realm, um, and how to ultimately spin you know you know bad events into good events, or try to figure out like a way to live that's like the best for you. But I don't think it's like a way of like understanding the world at any deeper level, or any like or like on any objective level. I don't think that should be the goal of philosophy. Um, so yeah, at the end of the day, like when you have all that, you kind of just realize that like philosophy is just an activity. It's like the same. It's like at the same kind of I view it as like the same at the same level as like doing anything else, like playing video games, or like watching a movie, or talking with friends about some other thing that's not philosophy. Or it's like it's just an activity at the end of the day, and obviously everything's an activity. But what I mean to say is that I don't think philosophy is that important. Like I think it's like there's people that live out their entire lives without like really thinking hard about what their life really means, and they seem some of them are happy. I mean, philosophy can help people, right? But it could also not help people. It could also make it also worse in your life. It could also start realizing too many things, and maybe you go down a rabbit hole where you start like, maybe your baseline personality is more neurotic, right? And then you start doing philosophy, and then you start like seeing the world through a more negative lens, because you start to like think more about things negatively because of your neurosis. So there's a lot of variables, a lot of factors, and I don't know. I ultimately do think that philosophy is more of just like, yeah, just more of an activity. No, nothing to like put on a pedestal or anything. Yeah, yeah, Corey. Philosophy isn't meaningless. It's not meaningless. It has meaning. Like it's like if you actually do philosophy, I think like um, if you actually like submerge yourself in the philosophical realm and you start thinking about things, like it's not meaningless at all. Like I mean, it's like stuff that you think about, but I think it's like an activity that you're engaged in that's meaningful to you. But same way, for example, cutting down a tree, or like planting trees or something like that could be meaningful to you. Like if you're engaged in the activity of planting a tree, I think it's also meaningful to you. And I think things are meaningful if you think they're meaningful, basically, to you. So, and because of that, I think a lot of philosophy is at the same level as a lot of these other things. A lot of these other disciplines or activities you could do. Speedrun Duolingo now. Sorry, Sakurai. Kind of missed the boat on that one. My brain's already a rock. It's already or metal. You can't. It's not plastic anymore. So I can't learn anything else. I can't learn anything anymore. It's over, guys. It's over. I think the therefore I am is a meme now, but it's a building block of a lot of other more tangible things. Yeah. Yeah, remote human. I think like, yeah, for example, yeah. I mean, philosophy does inform all your other activities, but I think like if you do a lot of math, for example, um, it's like imagine the vibe of like you're doing a lot of math, and then you like leave your room or whatever, and then you're like in this math psychosis vibe, or it's like you play a lot of video games, you're kind of in like a video game psychosis vibe, like you're like anything you do informs the decisions of other things that you do. Yeah, Kyle. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Alrighty. I'm getting a little sleepy, but yeah, it's been a good time on this live chat. You guys remind me that I should do this more often. It's really fun. Um, no, just like talking to myself basically, then reading this wall of text. Um, yeah, but we should do that sometime soon again. And yeah, thanks for the wishes, guys. Thanks for the wishes. All right, peace.